question for you this morning. Is it effing obvious Chelsea are building one of the best teams in the world? The reason I put it like that, Simon, is because it is reportedly been said to Chelsea fans at a fan forum meeting last month by the club director, Danny Finkelstein, who I think you know.
I do.
He is also said to have told the group of supporters there is no statistical relationship between managers and results, and that Luis Enrique would not have been the right appointment for Chelsea. So what do you think of that? Are they building one of the best teams in the world?
Well, context is everything, and knowing Danny Finkelstein as I do, he's not prone to using that kind of language. He's a very educated academic man that was brought in for various reasons onto Chelsea's board because they were assembling a group of people that were best in class.
Yeah.
So he's a very balanced, understated man. So I'm very surprised that language is being deployed by him. So there must be a context to it, and there must be a reason behind it. And sometimes sitting amongst fans can boil your blood if you're sitting in a room full of fans that are poking at everything that you're doing rather than being constructive. Now, that doesn't mean that what Danny has said is right, because I think to suggest that there's no empirical data between coaches being good at their jobs and ultimately outcomes is probably a bit wide of the mark, which suggests to me that there must be a little bit more context, a little bit more nuance, and a little bit more of a structure around the reasons why he said that.
Yeah.
Do I think there is an efficacy, an unorthodox efficacy around building out for the future rather than having to deal with the here and now? Now, we are in the business of the here and now. The fans are often in the business of the here and now. Some of them can see the bigger picture and go, right, I can see why you're buying these younger players, because you're going to build a squad that inherently grows into the opportunity rather than buy the opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, they're doing a bit of both, aren't they? They're paying for the opportunity and prepared to wait for it further down the line. And they seem to be doing that with the coach as well, which is basically we'll get a group of young, highly talented people, we'll mould them into our way of thinking culturally, and we'll produce a winning team somewhere down the stretch. Now, that doesn't play into the narrative of how football should work in the minds of those that are confronted with it on a daily basis, which is the fans and the media, which is now.
Sure.
So in my mind's eye, I can see what they're trying to achieve. I can see that building out players on longer term contracts was designed to make sure that they overcame certain PSR restrictions, and then look at it and say ultimately the way that they built their wage structure, which is what I talked to Ed Barley about, didn't compromise them if these players didn't work out. So there's a lot of thinking gone into it. Buying younger players that aren't big time Charlies, that are arriving at a football club that want to grow back into the scenario of being a winning football club has resonance to it. Bringing a coach in that's young from an environment that you know and trying to nurture him into a way of thinking. But it will fly in the face of what people think needs to be done. To some extent, it's what's been done at Arsenal. Arsenal have allowed Mikel Arteta to have 5 years, nearly 6, to build towards a team that wins something.
Well, yes. I mean, this was a summary of the meeting between Lord Finkelstein and Chelsea fans.
Yep.
It took place at the start of February. It was posted online by the Not a Project CFC protest group.
Yeah. Can't see where they're going with that, then. They've got an open mind.
They said in a summary of it, the discussion became heated between themselves and Finkelstein when the director responded by telling us players will mature as they get older, and that to them it is effing obvious that we're building one of the best teams in the world. So that's where it's come from.
Yeah, I know. But again, I can suggest.
And Finkelstein has said it.
I mean, first of all, the independent fans report was built out with one thing in mind. Actually, everything was curated to produce an outcome. The title of this group tells you where their mindset is.
Not a project.
It doesn't matter
CFC.
What you tell people of this nature.
Yeah.
It's like having people in a room that have a particular ideology. You can confront them with all the facts in the world about potentially why they need to change their mind, but then you're deconstructing their whole world existence, and they can't cope with that. So the idea that Danny Finkelstein, who is a very measured, calm, mild-mannered academic, would sit there and just go, well, it's effing obvious, is not contextually how I believe it transpires.
So you think they're on track, Chelsea, and the ownership's on track to bring about the best team in the world?
Well, they've won the World Club Championship, so they can make that argument, couldn't they to some extent? But and I don't think that's the real argument. But the fact is that their ambition is to be the best team. And they're spending the money to be the best team. And 18 months ago, people were turning around saying, I'm so offended by how much money they're spending, as if it were their money. It was the money that the people that own the football club are spending to try and build something. They're not trying to build lack of success, aren't they? They might be going about it in the wrong way. I've never heard a scenario where spending too much money is something people have become offended by, and that being their own fan base. Saying we're offended by the amount of money you're spending.
Simon, interestingly, Lemar Senior was asked ahead of the PSG game. He was asked if he agreed with Finkelstein's assessment.
Of course he does.
Yeah, I do. I think it's really difficult because you want to be successful in the now. I want to be successful right now, as everybody does. But at the same time, you have to plan for the future. There is an idea for this club to be successful in the long term for a long time, not just for 1 year, but to have consistent success. And if you want to build something, you need to make sure the foundation is there, and then the results follow. I know the plans. I'm excited by the plans. I'm excited to be a part of it. And I'm very excited by players like Zhao joining the club at the age that they're at. I'm looking forward to a long period of working with them and making sure we get the success that this club deserves.
Got to do both. Got to do both. He's gonna say that because he's part of the project, for want of a better expression. He is being invested in. His potential is being invested in. So people are suggesting, as a result of Liam Senior, you are the embodiment of the Chelsea mentality, which is you aren't there yet, but we're going to help you get to it. And everyone's just going to have to wait and see. And when the vision arrives, they can all tell us how wonderful we are.
Yeah.
The unfortunate nature of the beast is you cannot be King Canute. You can't sit there and tell the nature of the beast, which is the industry itself, saying success comes now. It doesn't matter what you've done. Doesn't matter what credit you get in the bank. Doesn't matter what you're building towards. Doesn't matter if you're spending money. Doesn't matter if you're backing the outcomes you're trying to achieve. Now means now.
So if now really doesn't mean now,
but it means even more than that at Chelsea.
They've got to overcome PSG tonight. Haven't they?
But it means even more to Chelsea, or potentially qualify for the Champions League next year and have another go at it, because no one really thinks Chelsea are going to win the Champions League this year. They think there are better sides in there. They're better set up. Problem for Chelsea is their whole model's been built on now. Even other football clubs that have organic growth and have been able to develop, that have got a little bit of latitude. Arsenal have been given latitude. They've had 5 years where they're one of the elite teams in the country. They haven't won the Premier League for 22 years. And we've got a manager that's seemingly okay with the board. Whereas Chelsea, with Abramovich going, now. I walk through the door, it's now. Yeah. And by the way, you gave me some success, but not enough. You're out, next guy in.
Do you know what? I'm going to say something here, and it's just occurred to me. You were like that at Palace.
Yeah, I was, to a degree.
You were like, I can imagine you. And I vaguely remember when I was at Sky, there would be discussions in the newsroom. Have you heard Jordan saying X, Y, and Z? You wanted success not only in the future, but now.
No, I wanted people
to exactly like
but
this.
I wanted people to work to their optimum level. I didn't want any wastage. If I didn't provide them with the tools that were good enough to get where I wanted them to go, then I had to take that upon my toes. But I wanted people to operate at their highest level. And of course I accepted the idea that no one was patient, least of all me. But you had to be realistic. You had to be, price it into your thinking that there's a building block. But it doesn't work that way. So this contextual conversation that Danny Finkelstein would have had with this group of fans, he could have told them that they were lovely, he was going to give them everything they wanted, and they'd still find something to be negative about because that's their default setting. They don't agree with the ownership. They don't agree with the direction of travel. They think it's going to be run into debt. They don't like Egg Barley. They think Bowley's a clown. And they'd rather have Roman Abramovich, who, by the way, appears to have operated in a way which is bringing the club into disrepute, jeopardising the entire legacy of Chelsea. Yeah. But that doesn't matter. Yeah. Because he bought you success.
Let's put it out there this morning. We're going to talk very shortly about this Chelsea huddle situation. But on this, Danny Finkelstein, club director, saying to the Not a Project CFC protest group that it was effing obvious Chelsea are building one of the best teams in the world. I wonder if there are any individuals listening this morning who are members of the Not a Project CFC protest group and who heard it being said by Finkelstein. But apart from that, Chelsea fans in general, do you agree with what Lord Finkelstein is saying? That it's obvious Chelsea are building one of the best teams in the world. Is it? And if that is the case, are they going to overcome, albeit a 5-2 deficit at this stage, the best club in Europe right now, PSG tonight? Give us a call. I really want to hear from you if you're in amongst that with Finkelstein.